Podcast was a hobby, 100% a hobby. I was in a relationship at the time. My friends who met her saw and told me behind closed doors she didn't believe in the vision, anything like that, and they felt that from her. We broke up. I started the podcast in November of 2019, created a YouTube page and everything, and started really going with recording content, putting it out. By January of 2020, I had a phone call with the NFL alumni, pitching myself to get into the Super Bowl. Yeah, so Prime Point Media stands for People Recognize One Man Entertainment, solo act media guy, digital media creator from podcasts, interviews, videography, editing. A little brushy on the photography, but we working on it. But anything media related, we take care of it. I'm a one-man act, traveling across 13 different states I've worked, various venues, various sports, various occasions. Oh, how did Prime Point Media start? Like the whole origin. Like oh shoot. I was a kid in sports my whole life, loved it. Uh, Eighth grade year, watching the Yankees Red Sox in my house in Carteret. I couldn't stop spitting out stats. And my grandfather was like, you gotta get into sports. I couldn't shut up talking about the stats of the game and the players. He's like, you gotta get into sports, you gotta get into commentary. I was like, cool. Long story short, the field died out and it started segueing into players, right? You see all the former players get the media jobs now. So I was like, I'll create a podcast. I'll make it a hobby. I'll do a podcast and be on my own terms. I figured I liked the word prime, like everyone has a prime in their life. With media, it's never lasting. Your prime's in your art. You know what I'm saying? You can make art look good. You can always enhance your craft. So prime, stay in your prime. I wanted to be different. I felt like prime's very used. So I put the one in there and create People Recognize One Man Entertainment. I don't have a team. I'm by myself. Everything you ever see is always me. So it kind of made sense. This one-man act until I hopefully grow. Then I guess I got to change it when it comes. But yeah, it started as a podcast and it slowly evolved into a full-on media thing where we produce video content for clients, photography, interviews. We travel, I travel. It's what you do to make yourself sound bigger. You say we, you know what I'm saying? They never know. But yeah. Buccaneers Chiefs Super Bowl. I interviewed them. So far, that's my peak. That's been my prime moment. It was virtual because COVID, everything got shut down. So they allowed only the real media that they always work with go to Super Bowl. And because it was COVID, any other media that got credentialed and approved was online through Zoom. But I still got to talk to all the players. Zoom or not, hey, it still counts. They knew my name, they heard my name, they heard my voice. That's all that matters to me. Whoo! Athletes. They had the most influence. That I've worked with. All right, so that narrows it down because I can't just pick anybody. My dog right here, TL, Thomas Lamana, Cornflake. I met him middle school year, 7th grade and 8th grade year. He was a public speaker doing the assemblies. Throwback to when we had assemblies in school. I don't know if they do that anymore. But yeah, he did a public speaking thing. I walked up to him because as a kid, I loved meeting celebrities, pros. If you was a pro, I had to get your autograph. It was something about me as a kid. So I did. He signed my shirt, Thomas Cornflake Lamana. He said, Alex, always follow your dreams. Thomas Cornflake Lamana, 8-0. He said, follow your dreams, because I told him in middle school I wanted to get into the sports world. Became a fan of him, started following his boxing career. 10 years later, he saw me in the gym. After I watched one of his fights, he saw what I've been doing. He saw me at a boxing event, asked me to work with him. Now I promote with him, and we promote boxing shows from Atlantic City to Newark and Washington, D.C. He has the biggest influence. Helps me a lot, hears me out mentally, helps me out, with planning, and puts me in a lot of position with a lot of powerful people. So he's become a very stable part of my connection at this point. First Super Bowl, essentially that was affiliated, that kickstarted everything. I ain't gonna lie, podcast was a hobby. 100% a hobby. I was in a relationship at the time. My friends who met her saw and told me behind closed doors she didn't believe in the vision, anything like that, and they felt that from her. We broke up. I started the podcast in November of 2019, created a YouTube page and everything, and started really going with recording content, putting it out. By January of 2020, I had a phone call with the NFL alumni, pitching myself to get into the Super Bowl. Contact named Aaron Beasley, 9-year NFL vet, found out what I was doing, put me in touch with NFL alumni. I got myself on the phone with them, said, yo, let's just schedule an interview. I would love to talk to you in person. I feel like everything's better in person. I got into the office. They were going to tell me they were scrapping everything they were going to do in the tri-state area, and they were going to the Super Bowl. I said, listen, if you get me into your private events, I'll go to the Super Bowl. Just get me into the events, I'll pay for everything. Hotel, everything. I won't ask for nothing, just the experience. That was my very first Super Bowl. After that, it's coming, you constantly pitching yourself, networking. If you find spots, go to the opening position. I found out where people fell out, try to get myself in. And then, 2 Super Bowls later, I got to interview players, and I got to actually work a live event at the Super Bowl. Success, honestly, I have a moderate house, preferably 3 to 4 bedrooms, decent basement, probably a pool, a car or 2. I mean, car or 2, not like I don't need a high sport car. I want to be comfortable. I want to be okay. My means of life, I would like to just travel. I don't want to live with the nicest house and the biggest car, because the more you put into that stuff, the less you can do elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? You buy all the Gucci's, Louis Vuitton, you're gonna have probably a crappier ride. You put your money in the wrong spots. For me, success looks like being cool and comfortable, not flashy, but probably being able to travel and living at your own means. As long as you're happy, you and your girl, you and your partner is happy. That's what I want to be. That's it. Create a happy life. If I'm making $50,000 a year doing what I love, it's what I love. I'll never hate work a day of my life, and I'll be happy. That's success.
All right, what's one thing you would tell your younger self?
Younger self, wow. Confident, well, yeah, no, I had, ask that question again.
What's one thing you would tell your younger self?
What's one thing I would tell my younger self? Stay firm. Stay firm. You doubt, people in our field, I guess, doubt plays a huge part of it. You listen to a lot of people. They tell you what they think you should be doing, right? What everything can go wrong about your field. It's funny, the ones that don't know the most about your field tell you how it can go all wrong, but can never tell you how it can go right. You gotta put the noise, outside noise. You really gotta stay strong mental. You gotta know your worth. You gotta stand your ground. Essentially, stand your ground. The moment you start to weave is when people realize they can control your narrative and start controlling your price, and they know they can knock you down a little more, and they take advantage of that. So staying firm, really, and knowing your path, knowing what you got going is going to work. Whoo! That's the one! That was crazy. Yo, so when I did the NFL alumni, mind you, I didn't really know how to work a camera the whole way around. Did not know how to work a camera, like, fully. Listen, the term fake it till you make it. I was started off, I told everyone I'm a podcaster. Interviews and stuff, I got you. Sit in front of a camera and talk, I got you. What did I say at the beginning too? My photography is getting better, but learning a camera. So I borrowed my mom's Canon, went down to the Super Bowl in Miami, spent the night in the hotel room, jumping back and forth, switching settings, sport mode, trying to practice all different things, looking up like lighting, and at age of 19, and I'm like, yo, I got them all my content and sent it to them. It's like probably 700 things of content. They wind up paying me a little bit. So shout out to NFL alumni for looking out for me. Shout out to Brent Reese, Michael Gamari, Dom Gaspari, and Aaron Beasley for the opportunity. Gotta plug that. They, they said like some of the captures were blurry. Mind you, I had 700 pieces. I gave them every content. Like stuff was blurry. So, but I still did my thing. But now you fast forward, I've worked Bruce Arians' golf event, his gala event, his fundraisers, and quality's night and day now. You can see the quality's better. You're learning your angles. You're learning what shots are probably different that could be dope. for people to see. You know what I mean? So I would say my angles, my creativity on my shots is what's really starting to evolve. So this is Alex Secchia from Prime Point Media, where people recognize one-man entertainment. If you enjoy videography, content creation through the eyes of a young creative, just embracing the world of the sports industry with the major celebrities from football, boxing, all the way down to high school, feel free to tap in with me. Prime Point Media, right here on the shirt. Catch me on Instagram at Prime Point Media, or on YouTube, Prime Point Media, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you find your podcasts. And this is Alex Secchia on the Seeme Gang podcast. Be sure to plug in with them on Instagram, YouTube, and wherever you find your podcasts.